Okay, we're coming up to a junction here. If we go right, which is the path we're gonna go, we're gonna head towards Lower Twin Lake, and we're gonna do a big loop. When we come back, we're actually gonna come back that way, left of the sign. Here is signage, a little difficult to read, Twin Lakes Trail. Let's keep going. We've taken the fork over towards Twin Lakes. First up is Lower Twin Lake, which we will slightly descend down to. Then we will go up to Upper Twin Lake, and then loop around to the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, and complete our loop back to the trailhead. So first up is Lower Twin Lake, hiking through this shaded section of Mount Hood National Forest. It's sprinkling a little bit, but the canopy cover of this section is shielding me from the rain. A little bit of fog in the air. I don't know if that's picking up, but it is palpable. All in all, a pretty pleasant morning and set of conditions for December 3rd here on Mount Hood National Forest. This is insane. Historically, there'd be a couple feet of snow on the ground, and this would be completely inaccessible on foot. Typically, this would be a snowshoe or cross-country ski. So this is by far the latest I've ever seen accessibility of this trail. I actually brought my snowshoes and my trekking poles. Wasn't sure exactly what to expect, conditions on the ground, and they were actually lighter than I expected. I thought there'd still be a little bit of snow, and I was gonna make a decision if I was gonna boot pack it, as they call it, which is just hike without snowshoes and sturdy boots on snow, or if I was gonna actually deploy the snowshoes. I had a feeling I wasn't gonna deploy the snowshoes, but if I was gonna boot pack it, I was gonna bring the trekking poles. But as soon as I pulled up, I instantly could tell this is essentially a summer hike in winter. No snow to me equals summer hike, but I'll take it. Pretty much have this entire forest to myself. There was one other car in the parking lot, but they might have gone a different direction as well. So in fact, probably did go down to Frog Lake, which is the namesake for that parking lot. So I am possibly the only person in this swath of forest. So that's definitely not something you're gonna have in summer. So kind of lucky to be able to come see this whole area as a completely solo hike. I always like to envision it's as if you've rented out the forest for a day or an afternoon for a solo experience, and that's how I like it. And let's be honest, that's one of the main reasons we go hiking, is for some solitude and get away from people and society and enjoy nature and maybe do some thinking, evaluating, searching. That's, to me, one of the great fun parts of being into wilderness hiking, is the psychological, emotional aspect of it. And I love solitude. This whole area has a pretty damp, wet feel. A lot of moss on the trees. A little bit of what I like to call mystical fog coming in and out. Kind of gives it a cool feel. Very humid. You can feel the moisture in your lungs as you hike this. I live hour south in Central Oregon in the high desert, so it's noticeably drier. When I come up here, it's noticeably more wet and humid. Feels a little bit like I'm in a sauna. It's not quite that bad, but definitely wet. Pretty low elevation. We're at about 4,400 feet. So we're kind of in the foothills of Mount Hood summit. Mount Hood Peak. As we descend to Lower Twin Lake, we are meeting a critical junction. If we want to go on to Upper Twin Lake, continue that way, we'll be going that way next. But for now, let's go check out Lower Twin Lake. Ooh, starting to get some peeks of it. Look at this beautiful lake. This is Lower Twin Lake here at Mount Hood National Forest in Oregon. Admiring the very peaceful, serene, and calm little forest lake nestled into this classic old growth forest. We're also admiring the rolling fog moving in and enveloping the area. This is beautiful. As we are admiring the beautiful views of Lower Twin Lake here at Mount Hood National Forest in Oregon, I did want to explore this northern side of the lake. This is actually prime backpacking camping zone. As you can see, we have this network of logs. Wanted to show off this incredible backcountry camping spot. Got your fire pit right here. Some obvious logs strewn about that gives you multiple seating spots. And not only that, but you kind of have a continuation of your site. Got some more logs lined up. Gives you a great flat spot for a tent, maybe somewhere in here. Lots of places you can put gear or you can sit if you have a lot of people. And hang out and have a fire, do some marshmallows, and enjoy the beautiful forest lake. And one of the other great parts of this area is that it's only about 2 miles from the parking lot, from the trailhead. So as far as bang for your buck and the investment you put in, it's well worth it. Hike 2 miles one way, and you've got a series of camping spots and fire pits. And you get to camp and spend the night right on the banks of the beautiful Lower Twin Lake. Exploring this area looking for backcountry campsites. So far we found 2 that are high quality. I thought I would go ahead and hike around the lake, Lower Twin Lake. There's actually a 1-mile loop trail. Goes all the way around Lower Twin Lake. I'm on that now. Be circumnavigating this lake and seeing if I can get new and interesting vantage points by which to admire the beautiful area. Stop here and take a look at the lake. Whenever I see a little outcropping into the shore like this, it's tempting, always tempting and hard not to just come walk over here. Right up on it, right up in the business of the lake. Look at that. We're here at Lower Twin Lake in Mount Hood National Forest of Oregon, and we are hiking the 1-mile loop that circumnavigates this lake. But we're enjoying so many beautiful views, it is hard to keep hiking. So we just want to stop and admire the beautiful lake. And I'm particularly appreciating that incredible blanket of fog that has recently rolled in and completely enveloped the area. Look at this beautiful backcountry camping spot. We're here at Lower Twin Lake, Mount Hood National Forest in Oregon. This beautiful lake and this incredible camping spot. We already identified 2 great spots on the north side of the lake, and this is outstanding spot right lake shore on the west side of the lake. I would caution that this right here to the right of the log is the trail. So we are right on the trail. However, this is not a well-known trail and it doesn't get much traffic, so you might not have many people. Maybe 1, 2, 3 parties the entire day, even hike beside you. So if you're willing to put up with a couple people walking right by you for the trade-off of being right by the lake, that might be a pretty good deal. As we continue to hike along Lower Twin Lake, the perimeter loop circumnavigates the lake. Look at that, that is beautiful. I love hiking right beside a lake like this. Great views. And look at this, this is beautiful. Look at the calm serenity of this classic forest lake. You want to talk about a serene, peaceful lake. Here you go. Something very relaxing about this beautiful little forest lake. My gosh, this is admiring this pretty cool rope swing that's been set up, assuming it's been done so competently, probably popularly used in the summer months. We are here at Lower Twin Lake here in Mount Hood National Forest, Oregon, and we're enjoying this absolutely beautiful small forest lake nestled into the heart of this classic old growth forest. And we've got this beautiful blanket of fog that has just rolled in and has completely enveloped the area. As we continue to hike here on Twin Lakes Trail, Mount Hood National Forest, and looks like we have made it. Look at this. This is Upper Twin Lake. We just came from Lower Twin Lake. Look at the beautiful Upper Twin Lake. We're here in Mount Hood National Forest in Oregon, admiring this beautiful, small, classic forest lake. And it now has a layer of ice forming in the center as it transitions from summer to winter.